Today, I want to walk you through the one decision that changes everything for you, your life, the things you want to achieve. Welcome to another episode of #Winning. Yuri team here, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. And this episode is prompted by a conversation I had yesterday with a bunch of our mastery clients. So these are the clients who we help go to multiple seven figures. And the conversation is really exciting because they're all doing like 50, 70, 80, K a month plus. And they run into new challenges in the business, right? So initially when you're starting out, it's like, how do I get clients? And then it's like, I got to hire some people and there's other issues, right? So the conversation really revolved around some of our clients feeling a little bit like well worked. Let's call it that way. So I don't want to use the word burnout because it's not burnout, but they just felt like really just like it was a lot. Like what they were going through on a week to week basis at the moment was a lot, like a lot of work in the business, on the business, etc. And again, context, they're building out their teams. Right? They're at a point now where they're hiring, they're building direct reports, managers, etc. So they can step out of the business, or at least not step out of the business, but step back from having to do everything. So it was a really cool conversation because it's higher level. But my coaching around that was essentially the following: is we're looking at a couple of their businesses, and obviously they break down exactly how much time they're spending in different areas, whether it's in the business, on the business, working with team, etc. And I said to a few of them, I said, listen, like the 18 hours last week you put in with your team, first and foremost, let's get a sense of what that was, right? Were there meetings on the calendar that didn't need to be there? Or were they worthwhile investments? Because here's the thing to remember is that every minute you spend with your team is going to buy you back tens or hundreds of hours in the future. And I really got them to think about this a little bit differently because I said, when you work with clients, it's a much more linear relationship. Like you show up, you help them, and that's it. And if you have good systems and curriculum in place, then obviously the client can get leveraged outputs without having to require on your time. And it's the same with team members or employees. Every minute you spend with an employee or a team member, you are giving them institutional knowledge. You are downloading your brain into theirs so that after a couple of weeks of doing so and having them being onboarded and trained, you step right back out of what you were doing in that role initially, and now they do everything for you. And this is how you start to buy back your time. But it's very important to understand that you can't just hire someone and then step out of it altogether. Like you have to spend some time with them. So the one decision that changes everything for you, whether it doesn't matter where you are in business, is are you willing to pay the price? And the payoff, the bigger the payoff, the greater the price. But let's provide a bit of context around what do I mean by price. So my kids play soccer, okay? Three of them play house league. One of them plays a little more competitive, but here's the price that they pay. They show up twice a week and they play. That's all they do. They don't take it upon themselves to train on their own. They would rather watch YouTube. They'd rather watch do other stuff. And that's fine, right? Because the payoff is very small. You will stay in house league and that's the extent of it. But if you want to play pro, well, it's a different paying the price. You're not going to just show up twice a week. Maybe you have practices 4 days a week. Maybe you have a game and maybe you're training on your own to get better so you can compete at the highest level. So the higher you want to go, the greater the price you have to be willing to pay. And where I see a lot of people like fall short in life is they say they want this high payoff or this high outcome, but they are so delusional about the price that they have to pay. I want to build $1 million business, but I don't want to do anything. Okay, yeah. So that's why you're stuck. So coming back to the conversation I had with my clients, I said, listen, like right now you're paying the price. Right now you are paying the price of investing your time and knowledge to onboard, train, and get your people, your team members up to speed so that you can delegate and elevate. You can move to a higher level in your business. But it's impossible to get to a whole new level in business without paying some kind of price, right? Initially, the price might pay. So let's just break down the journey of business. Let's say initially you have more time than you do money. So the price you have to pay is your time. You have to grind away. You have to create content. You have to be posting like a maniac. You got to be reaching out to people. And you do that over and over again. Actually, even before that, the price you had to pay was go to school, most likely to build your skill set of being a great health professional. So that was price number one, right? There was an investment of money and time, right? Huge. And then you start to build your business, especially if it's online, you're not too sure what the hell you're doing. So a lot of people just post and grind and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. That's a price you're having to pay to get to the next level. But even then, there's a very big difference between why people do well there and why people don't. Posting once a week is not going to get you anywhere. You might as well not post at all. You got to be posting building once a day everywhere, right? You got to be reaching out to, if you think you're going to reach out to 2 or 3 people a day and get some conversations going, reach out to 50, reach out to 100. If you eventually kind of build a bit of traction, you want to start running ads as an example. If you're going to spend $5 or $10 a day, that's the price you're going to pay. It's only going to get you so far. But if you're willing to pay a couple hundred or a few thousand or tens of thousands, payoff is much greater. So the price you're willing to pay determines how far you can go, how high you can go. And there's different prices, whether it's monetary, whether it's your investment of time, energy, attention, etc. So whether that's investing in your own skills, whether it's investing you into your people so they can be trained up and then start to do what you would have done earlier on so that you now have more leverage. Perhaps it's also, putting in the time to go through the ups and downs. Like you have to go through the journey. You have to eat a lot of shit along the way. You're going to get knocked down several more times than you will win. And you have to be able to say, okay, it's okay. I get it. I'm willing to write 10 ads. I know none of them are going to suck. One of them might work and we'll go scale that sucker. I know that every single email I send out is not going to lead to calls booked, clients enrolled, etc. But I know that if I just keep doing this, that's the price I'm paying to build my skill to sharpen the sword. And the more I do that, the better I'm going to get. The better I get, the more I will get because you are in the service of more people. You're more persuasive in your communication, etc., etc., etc. Right now, as I'm shooting this, we're in the process of onboarding a new director of sales. I love sales and I've been in sales for 7 years with Healthpreneur. So I started doing all my calls myself way back in the day, 4 to 6 hours a day. You do that long enough and you're like, shit, okay, I got a good foundation, assuming you obviously do well, right? And I've been managing to some degree the sales team for the past couple years. And so as much as I love sales and feel that's a really good use of my time, the reality is I don't have the time or bandwidth to really, really do what a good director of sales would do. Daily huddles, role playing every single day, reviewing every single call. I got to run the company. I can't do all that stuff. So anyways, we've hired a director of sales. And over the past 10 days, he has an onboarding process he goes through, institutional knowledge is documented, etc. Just like when we onboard a client, they go through a curriculum. When we onboard new team members, they go through a curriculum too, right? In respective to the role. So I'm spending, 30 minutes at least once a day. We're connecting and I'm just making sure he's up to speed. And every single time I invest that amount of time with him, I know that he's gathering intel and information that otherwise may have been stored in my head, those nuances that are kind of beyond the training. And I tell myself I'm investing 30 minutes a day now so that I gain back 30,000 hours over the course of a year, if that even makes sense. So I want you to understand though that I didn't just hire someone out of the blue. I literally had to pay the price of getting really good at sales for a very long time. And it's really, I think it's immature to say, I don't like doing this. Let me hire someone else who does. And I don't even have enough traction to even know what good looks like. So you got to pay the price, right? When you're starting off, you have to wear all the hats. You have to do everything. That's the price you have to pay. And it doesn't mean that just because you're overwhelmed with stuff temporarily that you have to go out and start hiring people and doing all sorts of stuff. Like, again, you got to think about where you are in your journey, right? Part of that journey is like you're going to get to a point where you will feel overwhelmed. You will not know what to do. You will have moments where you're like, what the fuck? Like, I just want to stop. That's part of the price you're paying to build something great. And most people who are not willing to pay that price don't really create greatness in life. They put in the 9 to 5 punch in, punch out. They do the minimum, the bare minimum. Just, again, if you think of a job just over broke, they do the bare minimum to just stay over broke. But you are an entrepreneur. You are here because you want to build something great. And that means it requires paying the price. I get up every single morning, 4 to 4:30 a.m. every single day, 7 days a week. Do I have to do that? No, I choose to do that because I have very, very big goals. And I know that if I can add 1 to 2 hours in my day, right first thing in the morning, I'm going to add, if you think about this, 1 hour per day over 1 year is 9 full-time working weeks. So I can add 18 full-time working weeks by waking up 2 hours earlier and just getting ready into the work. Why would I do that? I don't want to sleep in. I can sleep in when I'm dead. I have stuff I want to do here. And I don't just want to get by. I don't want to live a mediocre life. And I'm sure you don't either. So you have to be willing to pay the price. We don't need to complain about it. We just have to suck it up and understand that everything we're doing now, always connect back to your why. Why am I doing this? What's the payoff of me doing this now? How does what I'm doing now move me toward my bigger objectives? And if you're doing stuff that is menial, that is meaningless, then you want to question that. Do you have to be in every single meeting? Probably not. Maybe initially, but over time, you can start to audit your time, audit your calendar, audit what you're doing with it, and ask yourself, is this the best use of my time? And if it's not, think about, how do I step out of this? Or how can I train someone else or hire someone else to do some of this for me if that's the right stage for my business? Not because I don't want to do it and because it's annoying, but because it makes the most logical and financial sense for the business for me no longer to do this anymore. So I'll just finish with this. If you want to get in great shape, you got to pay the price. You got to work out. You got to sweat. You got to make those muscles work. There's no way to get in great shape without paying the price. So in that case, paying the price is putting in the work. It's working out several times a week, pushing yourself beyond that comfort zone, eating well, right? Making sacrifices, sleeping in, sleeping well, whatever it is, right? So all this to say that the single decision that'll change everything for your life is continually asking yourself, am I willing to pay the price for what it is that I say that I want? If I have a payoff of whatever's up here, are my actions on a consistent basis aligned with that? And if you're not where you want to be, that's the first place I would look at, is your actions are most likely not aligned with what you say you want. So either don't say you want that thing because you don't really want it, or you got to take your action to another level. That's what it's all about. That's how you pay the price. If you've enjoyed this, watch the next #winning video. I think you'll really enjoy it. Thanks for hanging out with me. Talk to you later. There are a number of limiting beliefs that are most likely killing your business. And today I want to walk you through 3 of those, and specifically 7 questions you can use to help dissolve those, break them, and replace them with beliefs that will actually support your growth.